reminding you, you've got this. You know, when you're younger, you think about growing older as gray hair, joint pain, things slowing down, but nobody really tells you about the shifts that happen in life and the things that change so drastically when you get over 50. And it's only then that you completely re-examine your family, your views on things, and your life. Today I want to talk about 4 hard truths that actually caught me off guard and probably caught some of you guys off guard. The first one is looking back at your younger self. You know, as you get older and you look back at where you were 10 years ago, you felt like you had gained a lot of knowledge and you were very, very smart for all the life's lessons that you've learned. However, as you move forward 10 years or even 15 years, maybe even 5 years, you look back at that younger self and you say, I wasn't as smart as what I thought I was. And when you're younger, you think you have everything figured out, only because you've used all your life experiences up until that point. And you're only as good as life's teacher. And those experiences are what tell us what the best moves are for us in our lives. However, you get older and you look back on that and you realize you've learned so much more since you've gotten older that you can now apply to life. Maybe even your opinions change on things. Maybe you believed something at one point, but now you don't believe it anymore. Maybe you have a different culture shift to what you feel about in politics. And it's okay to look back on your former self and cringe. The next point is that you never stop being a parent. Now, some of you may be parents out there, some of you may not be parents out there. But I remember recently I was watching the Steve Martin movie, I believe it's called Parenthood. And at the end of the movie, he's sitting with his dad and he's complaining and he's being real with his dad and saying all the things that are going wrong with his life and all the things that are going wrong with his son, when in the past he was trying to act like he had everything covered. And his dad looks at him and says, "It never stops." And that's true. I mean, you may be an empty nester, but that's only a living situation, because as your children grow, a new set of issues tend to arrive and you have to handle them differently than what you did before. Just because they're outside the house doesn't mean that those problems or those issues don't keep coming. And it's good that you keep in contact with your kids and you are still that teacher to them, but thinking that just because you have an empty nest that all of parenting is done, I think it's just beginning, because there's so much more ahead that you're going to be facing. And continue to be a great teacher to them and give them life's lessons. The next thing I've learned is that stability can become unstable in a minute. You're getting older, life is comfortable, you have plans, you have dreams, and maybe it's a diagnosis at the doctor. Maybe it's a job situation. Maybe it's just a relationship issue that all of a sudden just ends. And so you feel stable only to have everything upended at the last minute. I think about the people that I know that are over 65 that still haven't retired yet, and they want to work one more year for maybe an extra $150 a month in their Social Security benefits. But I think about a woman that I knew that I worked with for 5 years. She worked all the way up to retirement, only to turn around and 6 months after retiring, she passed away. What life did she live after working? So again, you have to live life to the fullest even before you get to the point where you have the freedom of retirement. Stability is only what you have right now at the moment, and something can change in a minute. So I say take advantage of every opportunity that you have in life to be able to live out your dreams, to be able to go and do the things that you want to do. And so many of us live in fear that taking that first step is the hardest one. And once you take that first step and you find that freedom, take advantage of that. Because if you don't, the time that you do have freedom may be that unstable time. The last thing I want to talk about are unacted dreams. Now, unacted dreams are not regrets. They're just excuses that ran out of time. Everyone has dreams, as I've said before, about traveling, what they want to do when they retire. But how many times do people just continue to sit on the couch and they never do anything? In your 20s and 30s, you think about dreams and you think about, oh, I can't wait. But then you finally get to a point where you're in your 50s and 60s and you realize you're still dreaming because you haven't gotten up off the couch. The gift of midlife is actually dropping the illusion that someday you'll get around to doing it, because sometimes life catches up with us and that sometime never comes around. And maybe those dreams are not in retirement. Maybe those dreams are something that you should have done in the past, but you now have regrets because you never did it. It's time to give yourself a pat on the back and just get over it and move forward and actually look at dreams ahead of you. Just grant yourself permission to let go of the past. Getting older strips away illusions and actually gives you more clarity. So my best advice is to start living the best you in the reality that we're in right now. So which one of these hits you guys the hardest? Go ahead and drop a comment down below, and maybe there's something I missed that you could add to this conversation. But guys, thanks for watching.